Hello, lovebirds. This is uh, video number 3 when it comes to filling out the sponsorship application for Canadian citizens marrying a Moroccan citizens. Now, I previously have done document checklist IMM 5533, and I also have done sponsorship application IMMM 1344. Now, moving on, this would be we're gonna be doing the generic application form, which needs to be filled out by peer applicant, which means a Moroccan citizen, and the form is IMM 0008. Now, I have done my application back in October of 2021, and at that time, the form had obviously a different date. So you guys have to make sure, and I can't stress enough how much this is important to make sure that your application form is up to date. For every single form, it needs to be up to date. So you have to make sure that you have the most updated form. Okay, so in this case, my application form was from here, uh, March 2021. Okay, the newest form is from, and I will change my page. The newest form is from, so sorry, let me see here. The newest page, well, the newest form would be from, I think, yeah, there we go. Uh, August of 2022. So you have to make sure that your form is up to date. Okay, now because I was applying in October 2021, my form is from March 2021. So I will, because it's already filled out, I'm just gonna take you through. Nothing much changed other than they just added a US citizen information if you are a US citizen as well. And this is for Canadian applicants, sponsors. So anyhow, moving forward, this is the form. Now, in order to find this form, okay, I explained before, you go on their website, the IRCC application form, package or form. Okay, so this is what you click in your to go into the website, and here you would put filter items. You would put the number of the form, and then it will give you the form, and this would be the most updated ones. Okay, so all these forms would be updated. Okay, so this is where you find the form. Okay, now moving forward, so again, here we go. Okay, so it is generic application form Canada. Okay, and starting with number 1, application details. Okay, program under which you're applying obviously would be family, because you're sponsoring, well, you're being sponsored by your wife or a husband. Okay, so we'll click family. Right now, keep in mind, that all these forms could be filled out by let's say a Canadian citizen, a sponsor, and they can be submitted by the sponsor only. Now, if a person that's in Morocco, a husband or wife, if they can fill out the application themselves, like their own forms, it's okay, it's fine, and they can submit the forms by themselves via portal. Okay, now the thing is, when I applied by paper. I didn't apply online. I could have, but I opted to apply on paper because it was, much more easier for me, and I had everything set, and before I sent the application, I made sure everything was done and properly executed. So I didn't like the online stuff, because once you fill out everything and you send it, you cannot undo the mistakes that you did because you already sent the form, right? But now it's mandatory to do the online form. Unless you have any problems, then you ask for the paper application. Now that's one thing that changed since the time I applied. So I could have done it by paper or online. Now I'm guessing it's just mandatory to do it online, which I'm not really fond of, because once you fill out the application, you're like, oh, okay, everything's good. You send it in, and oh, I made a mistake. You cannot undo the mistake. So make sure you check like 10 times before you send in the form. Okay? So anyhow, like I'm saying, this application form can be filled out by the Moroccan city because it is their form, or it can be filled out by husband or wife in Canada. But in that case, you will have to fill out the form 5476, a representative form, which means that you filled out everything for your spouse and all your information will be there for IRCC to contact and whatnot. So that's what I did, and like I'm getting all my husband's information and everything, so it was much easier for me. Anyhow, moving forward, so like I'm saying, program under which you're applying, and this goes for the Moroccan citizen because he's the one filling out the form, or if the Canadian citizen is filling out the form for their spouse, think in their name, don't think in your name. So it would be family, right? um, Category under which you're applying, obviously it's a spouse, okay, because here on the side you have a little arrow that you can click on. It will give you all these options: common law partner, dependent children, child to be adopting, blah, blah, blah. So whatever the case is, this is, but obviously because we're doing the spouse, it should be a spouse here. How many family members including you are in this application? Now if you are just yourself getting sponsored by your wife, you just put one, obviously. If you have kids, family members that might come later or even now, you have to put as many people as are going to be in this application, because once you scroll down to the bottom of the application, you will see the dependents. There is a section to fill out for the dependents, but in my case, my husband was the only one applying, so we put number just one. Language preference for correspondence, it would be English. Now if your spouse, or I would say Moroccan citizen, is more comfortable in French because they do speak more French, you choose the language that is suitable for you. Okay, and now do you want to have interview? You can have interview in Arabic, in the region obviously, or you can have in any other language that it's more, so you can choose the language, right? Now are you going to need interpreter? You can click yes or no depending on the language that you're asking here to have interview in. Okay, moving forward, where do you tend to live in Canada? You have to click the province, and this little arrow will give you all the provinces, and then the city. Have you received your certificate? Okay, this is for the Quebec. Now if you don't click here on the province on territory, if you don't click Quebec, everything will be not gray. So if you click any other province other than Quebec, everything else will become gray. So obviously you don't have to fill out the gray sections. But if you click on Quebec, you will have to fill out all this information here that is asking for. You see everything's gray, so moving forward, right? Personal details. Full name. Okay, now you obviously put your name here, your family name, and then you put your first name or given name. Here I just put some random name for the sake of this video. Have you ever used any other name, nickname, maiden name, alias? Now this is for Mostly for the social media. If you're using any other nickname, maiden name, alias, anything that you're using on your social media as a family name or a given name, you have to provide that information. So for the family name, my husband never used any, and here for the given name, I just give an example, Steam or whatever the case is for your given name on your Facebook, on your Instagram, or whatever, because sometimes people don't use their real names for these social media stuff. So moving forward, sex, it's either male or female. Obviously, you fill out the rest of the information according to you. Date of birth, you put your date of birth, city of town where you're born. Okay, I just put example here, Suera. Country, Morocco. Oh, well, obviously, if you're born in Morocco or maybe any other country, you will have to provide the country you were born in. Okay, citizenship, Morocco. Now, if you have any other citizenship in any other country, you will have to provide that country right here. Okay. Current country of residence, like where do you live right now? So if you live in Morocco right now, you would put Morocco or any other country. If you're a citizen of that country that you're residing in right now, or you're a permanent resident or visitor, worker, still whatever you are, you have to submit that information. Okay. Other here would be if you're a citizen of any other country other than Morocco. Okay. Moving forward, date and place or your last entry to Canada. Obviously, if you never came to Canada, everything would become gray. Okay. Previous countries of residence. During the past 5 years, have you lived in any other country other than your country of citizenship or current country of residence indicated above for more than 6 months? Now, if you click no, okay, but if you click yes, okay, everything will become red for you to fill out this information. So even if you make a mistake on something, if information is not proper, it will give you these red boxes to make sure everything is done properly. Okay, moving forward, question 13. Okay, your current marital style, well, it should be married, obviously, like you got married, right? If you are married or in common relationship, provide the date on which you were married. So obviously you put your date when you got married with your wife or your husband in Morocco, I'm guessing, right? So here you provide the name of your current spouse, like whoever you got married with. So their name, their last name, their given name. So this would be your Canadian wife or a husband, right? Have you previously been married or in a common law relationship? If you click no, everything will become gray. If you click yes, if you were married before as a Moroccan in Morocco, you got married before, you will have to fill out all this information of your previous wife or a husband. Okay, so my husband was never married, so obviously I click no, everything becomes gray, and I move on with the application. Contact information, current mailing address. Now, this is the section that I explained in sponsorship application. It would be completely the same thing, okay? So the first part of the form would be if you want your wife or your husband from Canada to have all your information sent to them. So you fill out their information. Now I will be speaking for Canadian citizens. If you are filling out this form for your spouse, you would put your information here. If you want all their information from IRCC to come to you, you would fill out this part here with your address in Canada. Now, let's say my husband was filling out this himself. He would put my information up in the first part of the form, and then the second part which says residential address. Okay, in this part he would be, we see how it says same as mailing address, same as mailing, he would put no, because the mailing address would be mine, as all the information would be coming to me, but his residential address is different than mine, right? So he would put no, and then he would put his information where he lives in Morocco. I hope I'm not confusing anybody, but it's, you know, it's basically, if you read everything up on top, you can actually see what they're talking about. So, and I'm going back and forth between the applicant and the Canadian citizen spouse, that, you know, they can fill out this application as well for their spouse. Okay, so moving forward, telephone number, so Moroccan citizen would put their phone number here. If they can put their spouse's number from Canada as well, sharing the information, right? And then put the email address. This email address would be then all information from IRCC would be going to this email address. Okay, so do not forget this email address put here. All the information would be going to this email address. Now, it's kind of hard for me to, not hard, but I just don't want to confuse everybody. Whatever email address you put in this section, that email address will be getting all the information. Now, because this form 0008 needs to be filled out by the PR applicant, which is a Moroccan citizen, they can put email address right there if they want all the information to be going to their spouse in Canada. Now, for example, my husband filled out this form by himself, and then he put my email address, so all the information will be coming to you. By saying that, he also had to fill out the form 5476 in order for this email to be valid by IRCC, for all the information to be coming to me. So just keep in mind, like I'm saying, read everything properly many times before you decide to, you know, put the information. But like I'm saying, it's pretty straightforward. If you as a Moroccan citizen filling out this application by yourself, the top you can put your information, but all the, you know, mail or whatever will be coming to you. And if you put your email down on the bottom in the section 6, you will be the one getting the from IRCC. So just remember, simply, whatever email is here, that's the person who will be getting the correspondence from IRCC. Okay, that's about that. Moving forward, like I'm saying, always, if you guys have any questions, just ask. Do you have a valid passport document? Obviously, if the question is no, everything will become gray on the bottom. And if you do have the passport, so you keep just filling out the, you know, proper information, the passport number, the date of expiry, and everything else. On the bottom, for this trip, we'll use a passport issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Taiwan. So obviously, you know, as soon as you say that you you know, have Moroccan passport, everything else becomes gray. So moving on, for this trip, will you use a national Israel passport? Obviously, it's going to be no, because you have a Moroccan passport. National identity documents, document number, country of issue, everything's like, you know, straightforward. The information that you have to put in, and that's about it. Moving on, education and occupational details. The highest level of education, the highest level, so pay attention to the highest. So let's say it's not you know, grade until grade 5 or 6 or 10 or whatever. So whatever is your highest level of education, that's what you put here. Number of years of education in total, so in total, like how many years of all your education you had, You input the number here, and that would include all the, middle school, high school, whatever, whatnot. Current occupation is whatever you are doing right now. Are you self-employed? Are you, doing whatever is your job right now? That's what you would put here. Intended occupation is, what do you think you would be doing once you come to Canada? This is their question. So because this is the application for the PR applicant, they're asking you, what do you intend to do once you come in Canada, like your job. So let's say, for example, here you see the trade apprenticeship certificate diploma was for my husband, and he does windows and doors. So, and I added any job available. Obviously, you don't want to pick and choose, but, coming to Canada, you want to be open to any other, employment. Language details, again, what is your mother tongue? Like, what was the first language that you learned? Obviously, it's Arabic, Morocco. Are you able to communicate in English and or French? So here you can click on this little arrow. It would give you English, French, both, or neither. Okay, and here on the next box it says, in which language are you most at ease? Now if you click here both, you see it will give you an option here, like which language is more easier. Let's say you speak English and French, which language will be more easier for you to, communicate it. And here I put English for my husband, so this becomes gray because obviously it's just, for him it's easier to talk in English. Have you had any test, proficiency in English and French? You can click either yes or no. If you had any test done in, in those little, like, how would I say? They have like little schools that you can do this testing in English to see how much of English you know. So if you have that, basically, not a diploma but kind of certificate, you click yes. Okay, but if not, it's no. And here we are, this part, it says add dependents, and this is where I'm gonna go back to the first point of this form, where they ask how many applicants are in this application. And I will go back just for you to understand. You see right here, how many family members including you are in this application? So I put 1 because my husband was the only one. But here, if you have dependents, which is kids, children, whatever, you click on that and you will extend the application, giving you, if you have any kids or, anybody else coming with you to Canada and, being sponsored, this is what you fill out. If you don't need it, you can remove and the application will be shorter. Okay, so that is about that. At the end of the day, again, do you consent to contact by CIC? You can click either yes or no if you want them to ask you any questions or whatnot. You can, just read this part and answer accordingly. Okay, at the end of the application, the form, you have to sign, and you can see, and this would be, because now it's online, you just, whatever, put in your name, and you put the date, and that's it. That's how you submit online the whole form. Okay, and then again, do not forget to validate the form. Okay, because once you do validate the form, once you click this validate button, it will give you the barcodes. Okay, so you have to submit the form itself and that page with barcodes. Okay, that's about it. Those barcodes are very important. Okay, because by those barcodes they will see the number of your application. Okay, and that's about it. Now I'm just gonna go back to the newest form, which is from the August. of 2022, and you can see this is the only part that they added to the application. That's why it's the newer USPR card. Are you lawful permanent resident of the United States? If you're, Moroccan, but you have um, a permanent resident in the United States as well, you click yes or no, expiry date. So this would be the only part that they added in this new form. Okay, so this kind of explain. Sometimes it's really hard to explain some things in order to be very clear, but I hope that I was pretty clear. If you have any questions or anything, let me know. But like I'm saying, each form is very straightforward. Yes, sometimes they do have some parts where you're like, what, but just keep in mind that if you are filling out the form yourself, you know, definitely answer, lawfully. And if you're Canadian citizen filling out the forms for your um, Moroccan spouse, husband or wife, then you can fill out everything. Make sure you keep their name in your head while you're filling out the information, and then make sure you fill out the 5476 form. Because why am I saying this? Because obviously some Moroccan men or women, they don't speak English, so it would be hard for them to fill out the form. And in that case, you as a spouse from Canada can do it. Just have to fill out the 5476 form and then submit everything on one, together. Anyhow, there will be this for now. Well, my next form would be background IMM 5669. That one is kind of like too much information, but yeah, that would be the next one. Okay, thank you guys. Bye.